Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the Glock 26, and we're going to be considering, is there a place in the world for the Glock 26 given the fact that there's other guns that are about this size that are significantly thinner, like let's say the Shield 9, Glock 43, SIG 365. So you got lots of other options out there. Why would you want to carry a G26? Okay, now even though this is a G26 polymer 80 that I made myself, we're not gonna consider this as a polymer 80. We're gonna consider this, let's say, or rather, we're considering a factory Glock 26 MOS. Okay, so because it's the same dimensions basically. Okay, this is a G26 clone. Now, part of the reason why I'm using this gun right over here for demonstration is because I don't own a Glock 26, or rather, factory Glock 26. The reason is because I never saw a reason to own it. Okay, I always kind of thought that the G26 was too big for everyday carry, not big enough for duty carry or shit hit the fan type of situation. Okay, so that's why I never bothered to buy a factory Glock 26. The reason why I made this is because Biden got on television and told us that we should all start building guns like crazy. So I said, okay, Biden says to build guns, I'm going to build guns, because that's what I heard, right? I heard him say, go build guns. So I'm building guns. So after I built a whole bunch of G17s, a whole bunch of G19s, I'm like, okay, what else can I build? Oh, okay, let's build a Glock 26. So that's how I got this. And in the process, I learned a lot of things about this gun that have made me think about it a little bit different. Okay, so first of all, I did not know that the G26 would take G19 and G17 magazines. Okay, because this comes with a standard flush 10-round magazine. Okay, and then what you can do is you can get the 12-round magazine with a little pinky extension, right? Right, little pinky extension there. All right, but it'll also take, let's say, like a Glock 17 magazine, right, where it sticks out a bit, and then you can even get this Glock 31 round magazine. Okay, now if you're going to use a 30 round magazine, make sure it's Glock OEM like this. I have found that the aftermarkets don't work as well. I've got some ETSs. If you're going to go 30 rounds, it's got to be Glock OEM. Okay, I'm fine with the 17 rounders. I got lots of Glock, lots of ETS 17 round magazines. Those work fine. So that's a significant thing to consider, because what that does is, when you take a subcompact like this, right, and then you've got the option of throwing in a 17-round magazine, right? So you can carry this with a flush 10-round magazine, okay, right, and then if you need to, right, you can basically go to a 17-round magazine. Okay, so what you can do is you can plant a whole bunch of these 17 rounders all over the place. You can have some in your car, some in your office, some in your workshop, some in your house. So that's a good plan, right? So that's something that makes sense. Now I've been doing that, like let's say last year I was doing that with my Shield 9. I had extra magazines that I had planted all over the place, but those magazines are typically 7 rounds, 9 rounds. They go up to 12 rounds. With the Glock 26, you're immediately up to 17 rounds with just a standard G17 magazine. Okay, and these are very reliable. And personally, I would rather have 2 of these than 1 of these. Okay, because I don't want to have all my eggs in one basket. And plus, if you got two 17-round magazines, you still got more rounds than 31 rounds that are in here. So that's my line of thought in that. So that's a significant consideration, because all of a sudden, okay, once you throw in the 17-round magazine, this becomes a whole different gun now. This becomes a duty grade gun. Okay, and that's one of the things that's basically the point of this video. Okay, the thing that the Glock 26 has that your SIG 365, your Glock 43, or all the other subcompacts, the thing that they don't have is you can't say that they are duty grade in the sense that I don't think they just have enough capacity, or you would have to have lots and lots and lots of magazines. Being able to throw in, or carry this with a 10-round magazine and have as a backup as a 17-round magazine or 2 17-round magazines you know, that makes this a duty grade gun. Okay. Now the other thing is that this Glock 26, okay, it's like 99% of the parts are the same as the Glock 19 and the Glock 17. Again, I did not know this until I started building these polymer 80s. Okay, so here's the thing: on the lower parts kit, everything is the same. The trigger group's the same. The magazine catch is the same. The slide lock is the same, except for the slide lock spring. Okay, so this has a coil spring in here that pushes up on the slide lock over here, and the G19 and the G17 have a leaf spring, and the G19 is a little bit shorter than the Glock 17. So on the bottom part, right, on the lower part, the slide lock springs are different, but everything else, all the other parts are the same. On the slide, right, on the upper part, the only thing that's different is the recoil spring. Okay, so the firing pins are the same, the extractors are the same, extractor rod is the same, the plate in the back is the same, and it kind of makes sense because if you hold these guns like this, put them kind of side by side, right, you line them up, you can see how they match up kind of perfectly, right? So other than the barrel length over here, everything is the same. Okay, now holding the guns like this, you can see that from, you know, one of the things I always find quite amazing is the 19, which is the middle one here, is not that much shorter than the 17, and the G26 is not that much shorter than the G19. Okay, so I think there's like a ½ inch difference from here to here, and then from here to here there's maybe an inch difference, and on the back side over here there's maybe a ½ inch difference here, and maybe another 1.25 inch difference here. Okay, so the 19 is not that different from the 26, and the 19 is not that much different from the 17. It's just when you go from 17 straight to the G26, that's where you see a difference. Okay, you know, because now you've got about 1.25 inch difference at the bottom, and then you got about the same, about 1.25 inch over here. Okay, but internally the guns are practically the same. So that's an important consideration. Number one, this gun is going to be just as reliable as your Glock 19 or your Glock 17 because the parts are all the same. The engineering is the same. So even though I have not seen too many people buy this gun or carry this gun or use this gun, you know, I know from having built it that because everything is the same, it's going to be just as reliable. Okay, so that's the first thing that comes to mind. The second thing that comes to mind is if this gun breaks, it's easy to fix. Well, there's lots of Glock parts out there. There's lots of Glock know-how out there. Okay, if my Shield 9 breaks, I don't know how to fix it. All right, you know, when my 1911 broke, you know, that was a pain in the ass to change. You know, because basically the barrel and the bushing needed to be fitted together. You know, I just sent that back to the manufacturer. I didn't even try to fix that. I mean, I tried a little bit, and I said, oh, you know, I'll never get this right. I just sent that back out. But with this, just because I have so much experience building these polymer 80s, I can fix any, you know, Gen 3 Glock. Okay, I have the confidence to know I can fix it, and that's an important, you know, that's important knowledge to have, let's say, in a shit hit the fan type of situation. You want to know that you're using a gun that's both reliable, that you can get parts, replacement parts for, and that you have the know-how to fix. So with that all said, okay, this is a really small, nice, compact gun that has all those other important features that I mentioned. You know, the gun's reliable, I can get parts, and I have parts, and I have the knowledge to fix it. Okay, so that, you know, so going back to the original question, is there a place in the world for the Glock 26? Yes, for those reasons that I said. You know, and I don't think that can, like, SIG 365, beautiful gun. I've shot it many times. I don't know how to fix it. I don't have any parts for it. Like what, you know, on the other hand, if somebody comes to me with a G26 and they're like, okay, this gun broke, can you fix it for me? I'm like, yeah, sure, I can fix it. 1, 2, 3, not a problem. Okay, so that's an important consideration to have. The other thing is that, you know, like I said, aside from the fact that it's reliable, easy to get parts, we know how to fix the gun shoots really well. Okay, so here's the thing. I got those rims out there at 30 yards, okay? At 30 yards with a subcompact gun. You guys are hearing those pings one after the other on those rims down there? Okay, I think I maybe missed 1 or 2 out of 10. So at 30 yards, right, and those rims are basically, they're sideways. So basically the target's about 5 inches wide over there. You know, I'm getting like 8 out of 10 hits on them. So this is a really good, accurate gun because I can mount the optic on it. Okay, so you can get yourself a Glock MOS, put this Holosun 507C. I use this with the 32 MOA circle only. Major advantage to having this. Okay, so that's another thing. A lot of these other subcompacts, you know, they're I mean, I don't know if you can get optics. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. Sometimes you guys send the slides out to have them cut. I know that Glock, you know, there's Glock MOS where they just basically, you know, make these things, you know, optic ready. In my opinion, I think at this point going forward, every gun should be cut. You know, every gun sold should be optic ready. Okay, and I think that the Holosun 507C is kind of the standard. You know, so everything should be basically, you know, should be standard or more cut, unless it's a really tiny gun, like the Glock 43, for example. Then it should be arm S cut. It makes all the difference in the world. I mean, I shoot at night. I shoot under different types of circumstances. The optic makes you a better shooter. Okay. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention is when I carry this gun, because I've been testing this out for about a week now, I've been carrying it with the flush 10-round magazine. And when I hold it, basically my pinky kind of wraps around and it just touches the plate like that, right? The bottom, the floor plate of the magazine, right? So it just touches it, and you can see how it's pinging those rims over there at 30 yards. Now, here's the thing: you can get this 12-round magazine, right, that has the pinky extension, which does make it a bit comfortable to shoot. But here's the thing: in testing this out, right, and carrying this around, having that tiny little pinky extension over there makes all the difference in the world as far as comfort when you're sitting in your car, right? Because it sticks out. What does it stick out? About half an inch. Let me see how much it makes it stick out. Basically about 3/4 of an inch. A little less than 3/4 of an inch, more than half an inch. It sticks out just enough that it becomes a hassle. Okay, and it's, you know, especially if you're wearing a T-shirt and all of a sudden you can kind of feel the corner there. So to me, it makes a lot more sense to carry this with a flush 10-round magazine, right? Right. This thing sits a lot more flush now. You know, it doesn't stick out over there. You can more comfortably sit in the car with it. If I'm standing around, walking around, you know, I mean, I barely feel the gun. I mean, for that matter, I can carry a Glock 17. It's really not until you go to sit down that you really feel the grip sticking out. And yeah, but definitely I'll be the first to say that carrying a Glock 43 or my Shield 9 or even smaller, my Ruger LCP, which 380, right? That's a hell of a lot more comfortable to carry, right? So on most days I would rather be carrying my 380 now, right? Last year I was carrying my Shield 9 because of all the riots and nonsense going on all over the country. But now that things seem to have settled down a little bit, I kind of, the Shield 9 was, you know, it's a little big and heavy, and I went back to my 380 because, hey, I live in a very low risk environment. Okay, I don't go looking for trouble. Trouble doesn't come looking for me usually. So I carry the smallest possible gun that I can carry. Okay, so in a you know, that's what I carry. But if in a situation, right, where things were to escalate a little bit, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, definitely don't want to be carrying that tiny little 380. And I really don't feel comfortable with the Shield 9. Maybe that's just not enough rounds, even though I got magazines planted all over the place. The G26 is a really good option because you can carry this with the 10-round magazine, and then you can plant these 17-round magazines everywhere that you're likely to be. You may have these 31-round magazines laying around somewhere. So that's a lot of firepower in a subcompact gun. Okay. So, so yes, answering, going back to the original question that I asked, is there a place in the world for the Glock 26? And my answer is absolutely yes, especially in in a more dangerous type of environment. This is like the type of gun, like if you're like a professional, right? You're doing, let's say, bodyguard duty or security duty in what would normally be a low risk environment. Because obviously, if it's a high risk environment, you're going to be carrying a Glock 17 and maybe even have an AR-15 close by. But if you're in a low risk area, all right, well, you know what, carrying, a Shield 9 with 9 rounds, 7 rounds, maybe you're not feeling comfortable enough with that. Well, get this, right, with a 10-round magazine, right? This is convenient. It hides easy. You can be in a beach area, right, where, it doesn't stick out a whole lot. And then you can take one of these 17-round magazines, throw it in your pocket, or wherever. I think that's a lot more firepower having a G26 with a 10-round magazine plus a 17-round magazine, versus having, let's say, a Shield 9 or SIG 365. So that's my thought is that the G26 is what I call duty grade. Okay, everyday carry, duty grade, as opposed to, let's say, your Shield 9 or your SIG 365. Everyday carry, I wouldn't call that duty grade. Okay, I wouldn't want to be in a situation where, hey, I'm supposed to be providing security for somebody, and that's all I've got. A SIG 365 with maybe one, whatever, 8 or 10 or 9 round magazine, and then, I have to carry a whole bunch of other magazines. Or maybe I have one extra magazine. I would much rather have access to these 17 round magazines. So those are my thoughts on this. And again, a lot, if you had asked me a year ago or even 6 months ago, I would say G26 kind of pointless. Too small for duty grade, too big for everyday carry. But now, after having built it, shot it, been carrying it around for a little bit, I have a different opinion on this. Okay. Now, that said, like I said earlier, I've been carrying this around just to test it, right? But yeah, it's still a little bit too big for somebody like myself that's in a very low risk area. I do very low risk work, so yeah, definitely, like I said, the little 380 works just fine for me right now in this environment. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you're not a member of the channel, subscribe. I'll talk to you guys soon.